A word for our listeners. Masks of Nyarlathotep is set in the 1920s. We will be using terms and sayings from those times, including some that could be considered offensive. It is not our intention to offend. We merely wish to offer as accurate a view of the time period as possible. Welcome to the Nerds Domain presents Masks of Nyarlathotep. Join us each week as our investigators follow a path of clues and attempt to save the world from an ancient evil. Starring John Quiett, Jestin Kimmet, Shirley Niedzwiecki, George Chimples, Jason Hall, and Scott Troiano, with Matt Quiett running the table as keeper. Eldritch evils and crazed cultists await you just beyond this music.
Hi, welcome back to Nerds Domain Presents Masks of Nyarlathotep. I'm your Shirley, Jason, Scott, George, Johnny, Jestin, and I'm Matt. Last time we met, we left our investigators. They're not adventurers, they're investigating.
It's not an adventure.
They were at an Egyptian tea house having some nice, refreshing mint tea before going back to speak with Najir, Faraz Najir at the mosque.
Well, we toss his story.
Yes. So are you officially tossing his story? Is that the plan?
I'm not sure if they're going to toss their story.
Well, I'm going to let my wayward student here put his skills on display without comment at first. If he starts randomly opening safes, I'm just going to be like, oh, that's good to know.
How busy are the streets at the time that we're supposed to be doing the meeting?
All the shops will be closed.
Okay.
Like that's lunch hour for everyone.
Good.
And people might, in this region, might not be that weird because it's so hot. They take a nap, then for another hour.
Like a 2-hour delay, basically.
Yeah. It's the hot part of the day, and that's what you do. So
It's the whole
Is there
season.
like a back door, like back alley back door?
We didn't go with it.
not really. I mean, it just butts into another building, and that's about it.
Okay, so it's just the front.
Would you like to accompany us, Eva? Eva? What was it?
Eva, thank you.
Eva. Would you like to accompany us?
No, thank you.
You sure?
I'm positive.
I hear you like Frankie Vittery.
What did you say?
I hear you like Frankie Vittery.
Oh, good lord.
I'll say what. How did you know that?
Who's going to the mosque and who's absconding into the
Mosque.
I will definitely give them good direction.
So you and the professor are going to the mosque. Mr. Cooper and the professor are going to the mosque. Or the shop, correct?
Yes. We're splitting off from the rest of the group.
Okay, so the four
Bye, guys.
the four of you head over right at 1 to the mosque, and you get there, and Najir's already there, kind of on the side, and he waves you over calmly.
That's almost a miracle.
I thought he was down too.
Gentlemen, ma'am, please come with me. And he kind of takes you in a side door and down a couple of hallways into a quiet room, like off by itself.
Why are there always turns in this town?
Why are you whispering when the mic can't pick it up? So once inside, he says, now, your other two gentlemen, will they be joining us?
Perhaps later. They went to make sure that our belongings are safe. We've had meetings before where...
Excellent. I understand. So what exactly did you want to know about the Carlisle expedition? And
I set the bowl back down on the table in between us.
that bowl you stole from his shop?
Yes, absolutely. The one I just took.
Yep.
What is there to know? We mostly know what happened, what was in the papers.
I was contacted by Roger Carlisle, and he was seeking information about the reign of the Black Pharaoh. I don't know if you're familiar with the Black Pharaoh and the legends.
In passing, if you could refresh us.
So the Black Pharaoh the reign of the Black Pharaoh supposedly was ended by Sneferu, the first pharaoh of the 4th dynasty. I had come into possession of a few items, including an ancient scroll detailing entrance to a hidden room in a pyramid, which supposedly had the Black Pharaoh entombed in it. I also had a bust of the Black Pharaoh. Turns out they did do busts, Jesse. Just like they have cows in England. A small drum, what we would call a tambour, bearing odd symbols, and a strange circlet with a large zirconium, which was said to be the crown of the pharaoh, and to be the key to triumph over death. With Carlisle's agreement and insistence, I sold all of these things to Warren Besart, and that was my involvement with Mr. Carlisle.
To who?
Warren Besart. He was the agent, the Carlisle agent here in town.
Is he still around?
I haven't seen him. That doesn't mean he's not here in town. You could ask around.
Who would be a good person to ask?
He was a French man, so sorry, I'm trying to. He's a Frenchman. It might be best to start with a French ambassador, and they're all in his office. There's rumor that the Brotherhood of the Black Pharaoh has been involved in a recent theft of a mummy from the Clive expedition that's currently here in Egypt. I've also heard that the Brotherhood wants an item located in the Mosque of Ibn Tulun, but I don't know what it is or why.
Where is that mosque located?
He gives you directions. So it's in New Egypt, or New Cairo.
And do you have any artifacts from the reign of the Black Pharaoh currently, or do you no longer deal with such
Everything that I acquired, I sold to Roger.
And do you know of anything else involving the Brotherhood?
Yes. But I don't know that it pertains to the Carlisle expedition.
Well, we're still curious.
I dare say Roger Carlisle was all about it too.
I doubt that Roger Carlisle knows that my shop was burned.
He knows?
I doubt. That would be the actions of the Brotherhood.
Why would they burn your shop? Sorry.
I may have procured the items from one of their members.
So not from an actual big site, but
No, from what I would assume would be one of their high priests.
so
And I can't be sure that the Brotherhood actually burned my shop. All I saw were giant bat-like creatures that were on fire.
The cult?
No, Cthulhu.
You say no need. We know what that is, right?
Missed it by 3.
I'm gonna give that to you because that's really freaking close.
No.
Surprisingly, they're called fire bats,
Mm-hmm.
and they're literally bats made of fire. They can be summoned and controlled by someone with enough mythos knowledge and the proper spells.
Isn't that what Dwarf is afraid of?
Fire bats?
the Bajorans are afraid of fire raids.
All right.
I'm curious why the level of clandestine activities here. What was it? Explain what it is you're afraid of.
Did you see my shop?
The old one?
Yes. 2 flaming, flying creatures burned it to the ground. It, and only it. Did you notice that none of the other buildings were even singed? Just my shop. I barely made it out alive. The Brotherhood told me to stop talking about them, and by doing so now, I'm endangering my own life.
Very well, I understand that now.
But with the amount of money you've given me, perhaps I can far away.
So, you have no particular animosity towards the Carlisle expedition members, other than
when the Brotherhood spoke with me, they made it clear that they were unpleased that the Carlisle expedition had the items, but they were not seeking revenge for the for the sale, just the theft.
Do you know why Roger Carlisle is interested in such dark objects, or where he may have been taking them, and to what end?
Give me a second. I don't think that's... No, I don't. Although I did have some contact with another member of his expedition, a Penhew, Sir Aubrey Penhew.
Yes.
I sold him a scarab some time ago.
Of what significance?
It had several of the same symbols that the small drum had on it.
Would those both be linked to the Black Pharaoh because of those symbols?
Maybe there's a deeper thing. There's a deeper knowledge and mythos there connected between. What goes beyond what some would call a cult in your language?
I know what you mean. And do you have any knowledge of the location of the pyramids or tombs where some of these items were originally recovered?
No, but perhaps Warren Sart might have more information.
Yes.
I do know where the Clive expedition is and where the mummy was stolen from. I could point you towards that, but I don't know if that has anything to do with this specific.
You may be surprised.
Perhaps. I can point you towards that. He gives you some very basic directions, but it becomes clear, like, as he's talking about it, Mr. Weld, you know that if you head out that direction, you're going to be essentially pointing towards Dig. You'll be able to tell.
Yes, I think the Clive expedition is currently, like, out of character, they're not in the city doing things, they're currently out on site.
They're probably out on site, but still have agents and people coming back and forth to the city.
Food.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Let me review my notes real quick.
The four of you give me a luck or a spot hidden roll, whichever you like to use.
Spot hidden.
Luck.
Okay.
Either.
Well, you have to choose one.
Oh, all right.
Because spot hidden, you get to mark and it goes up.
I've already marked it, so luck.
Okay. You notice a small silver necklace with a jet, or silver and jet necklace with a large opal in the center. All four of you have enough knowledge of occult and mythos objects that it screams that it's something. So he has already lied to you at least once because he said everything he had he sold.
Can I do it? So, like, we know that it relates to the Dark Pharaoh, maybe, or it's just
no, just that it is definitely occult and probably mythos related.
Can I roll occult to try to figure out more?
Yeah, sure, you can try.
Yep.
Mythos.
Yes, you can. You would have to get a better look at it, but it's definitely imbued in some way.
Definitely what?
Imbued. It has a power to it.
Right. I'll kind of pointedly stare at it. Catches my eye, and then I kind of look at it closer.
He sits back and kind of readjusts his clothing so it's not visible anymore.
What does that do?
My clothing keeps me.
No. It's not my chest.
It's a protective item.
What is it protecting from?
Creatures unspeakable.
Like the bats?
Worse.
What's worse than the bats?
Things, horrors that hunt you.
Do you know where you can find more?
Of the horrors?
No. Preferably no, sir. More of those things. We might need them ourselves.
The only one I know of.
Maybe get a closer look at it. I'm not asking you to remove it, just show it to us.
He pulls it out and lays it on top of his clothing.
I take out a notebook and sketch it out.
Okay. And he leans forward a little bit so you can get a better look, but he doesn't move to even begin to take it off.
Sure, I'll study it as close as I can as well.
Okay.
For instance, is there any writing, sigils, or is it just...
Mr. Byrne is taking such good notes that you could probably study that later and figure out exactly what it does eventually, But you'd have to do some actual research and really look into it. It is a protective item. He's like, you can tell that pretty easily.
But it's not a sign of Black Pharaoh.
No.
Good sir, is there anything that we might do that would make you willing to part with that item? I would be remiss if I did not ask.
You, sir, are from Great Britain.
Yes.
And you, sir, are from America.
Correct.
And you are from Western America, ma'am.
Yes.
Have you not all had problems with similar things?
Oh, absolutely.
If you're researching the Carlisle expedition as others have, is not the thing I'm afraid of. Does not the thing I'm afraid of have such very long arms that it doesn't matter where I go. I'd rather have a protective item, no matter where I am.
Understood.
Yes.
Who else has come inquiring about the Carlisle expedition?
Again, I would be remiss if I did not ask.
There's a Mr. Elias. He was through here a few months ago.
You should know that he is no longer in the land of the living. The long arms caught him in New York City.
One more place I shouldn't go.
Beware of strangers, I suppose. He was stabbed in his bed by a Egyptian fellow, I believe. Kenyan? Excuse me. And
By a gentleman, is there anything to write on?
I had a notepad.
May I?
Yes.
And I dash out the quick symbol of the cult on the three dots that seems the
Bloody tongue.
Bloody Tongue, cult of the Bloody Tongue. By these gentlemen.
Oh, yes, the Kenyan cult of Bloody Tongue.
Yeah.
They're connected to the Dark Pharaoh, then?
it would seem
Pull it up, tuck it in my pocket.
we have many leads that seem to connect activities here in Cairo and in Greater Egypt with some events in Kenya.
I fear that everything I've told you has only made this all worse for me. I would suggest that you stay away from Mr. Omar Shahi. His house is where I stole the items.
You believe he's a high priest of the Brotherhood.
I would almost guarantee it. But I would not suggest in any way, shape, or form confronting him directly.
Absolutely.
He is of some means.
And how did you come to know that this amulet would provide protection?
I am no slouch in the understandings of cult.
Do you know if there's any place we could go to research? Anyone who might have books or scrolls that talk about this?
The museum, the Egyptian museum here, wouldn't be a terrible place to start. There's not a lot.
There never is.
The Brotherhood does its best to keep everything quiet.
And do you have anything in your shop that might be helpful to us that we could purchase from you?
Most everything I keep in my shop is honestly worthless junk. It's what I sell to tourists that need something to take home. Anything else, as soon as I get it, I know what's worthwhile and what's not, and I turn it around and get it out my door. Especially whatever Mr. Cooper brings to me. When he brings something, I move it especially fast.
Has Mr. Cooper ever brought you anything related to the Black Pharaoh?
Not directly to the Black Pharaoh, no, but to other such mythos type, and some of those same mythos, and perhaps some of that.
May I ask you about a few more things? I'm going to... Nitocris, does that mean anything to you, that name?
Yes. Give Matt a second to find that in the book. Sorry.
No problem.
I will. So, Nitocris is connected to the Black Pharaoh. There it is. She was queen. She was queen along with the Black Pharaoh. Or she was mother of the Black Pharaoh. I'm honestly looking. I can't seem to find an entry, and I think I know why. So, yeah, try. So, Nitocris was queen during the same time as the Black Pharaoh. She was supposedly a dark and powerful force at the time. Sorry, give me just a second. I think I found most of it. There it is. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying, I can't remember where Nitocris comes into our story exactly. What was that?
It's on my notes linked to the Brotherhood of the Black Pharaoh, but I don't have anything. It might have been just a name that was referenced to.
What was the name on the staff? There was somebody who was supposed to lend power.
There was a Nyambi, which was a benevolent African goddess.
Okay. I guess not.
No, Nyambi is not attached to this at all. You might be thinking of the black or the mountain.
No, we had a staff that was Nyambi lend me your power or something like that.
Yeah.
That was the phrase. And I thought maybe Nindocris was the name, but it's not. So.
No, it's not that. Yeah, Nyambi or Nitocris is just
she's the queen of that dynasty.
A queen of that. Not even that necessarily that dynasty, because the Black Pharaoh falls outside of a dynasty.
Right, those Black Pharaohs reign.
Yeah.
And also mentioned, does he know anything about the Black Winds?
Black Winds.
Yeah.
Supposedly they are located in Kenya.
Beyond that.
They would be north of Mombasa, closer to Mount Kenya.
Okay. And lastly, does he know anyone in Kenya, in Nairobi, that might deal with the same kind of things that he does?
No, I don't have any connections there. I deal mostly with my homeland.
Right. Well, I don't know if it would be a good idea to contact us in the future, but we do appreciate your help.
Thank you.
And should you learn of anything, should you fear anything, and you feel it is a good idea, you can probably reach us. We're unfortunately fairly visible.
Thank you.
And if you can escape and never experience any of this or anything of these nightmares again, good luck to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
If you make your way to Cambridge, and you can check in with the name of my organization, which I horribly forgot.
The Golden Lotus?
I think it was like the April Path, some sort of lotus, yeah. They can give you some help and maybe help you find your way to someplace safer.
It's a bit of a boat ride, isn't it? To the New World.
You're the one saying you wanted to get someplace far, far away. Perhaps the old ways have less sway in the New World.
Perhaps I should make my way that direction. If there's nothing else.
Would you like some tea?
I fear that it will do nothing to settle my stomach. So let's switch over to the professor and the grave robber. Mr. Cooper. So what are you guys doing? You're going to break in?
I'm going to walk up to the door and try to open it.
Okay, go ahead and give me a lockpick.
Yeah.
Okay, and give me a sneak. Oh, you have sneak? You have sneak, right?
You have sneak. Yep, 47.
So you pop the lock. Not a very hard one. You go right in. Professor, you follow?
Yes.
So,
I'm doing my best to look very casual about this.
Okay. Where are you headed? To the back, I assume?
Yeah.
Okay. You go through the main shop, you go into the back. It's honestly just more of the same crap. None of it's really worthwhile. You were kind of expecting him to hold more because you've heard that's why you sold to him. You heard that he was the guy that had the stuff.
Yeah.
But he doesn't seem to carry anything here. He does sleep here, so this is his shop and his home. But even within his own little room, there's not much there. So,
For the shot.
Search it. So you guys spend probably half an hour searching it. You figure you have at least that much time. And the conversation with Najir probably took 45 minutes. You guys go through it thoroughly. You don't find anything really spectacular. I mean, there is some stuff here, but none of it's worthwhile, worth money or anything. So
nothing of value.
Nothing of great value. Yeah. So.
If you wanted to pocket something.
If it's not of great value, I don't want to get caught stealing.
You don't really have a shop to sell it out of either.
Yeah.
So
what am I going to do? Come back and go, oh, I got this item.
Yeah.
I found this sitting on the side of the street.
Yeah.
So you guys head out.
I'll relock the door.
Where are you guys meeting?
Outside the mosque.
Okay. So you guys meet up. Najir leaves, or leads you back out, and then he heads back to the shop. And just a few minutes later, Professor Wentworth and Mr. Cooper walk up.
So our things are secure?
It's indeed.
You want to have the conversation back at the hotel?
It would be, late lunch now. Time for late lunch for you guys. You could sit down for lunch and do that.
No food at the tea shop?
Perhaps it's
They
best
fed
if we
you
go
a
to
little, but
New Cairo first.
Okay.
so you guys head back to the hotel, or do you want to head to a restaurant, or?
I'll leave him to a restaurant.
In New Cairo.
In New Cairo.
Yep.
You know the owner, and they'll give you a little bit of a kickback for leading custom.
Exactly. So you guys get to a traditional Egyptian restaurant. Captain, you're probably very used to this. You've been here a couple times. Professor, you're used to this enough. Mr. Weld, you're probably okay with it. It's not, maybe you've never had this before, but you're open-minded.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Cooper, you dine here like once a month because you kind of like the food. Mr. Byrne and Ms. McCrea, they put something on your plate and you're not quite familiar with even what it is.
It kind of looks like rice.
Yeah.
In a way.
Is it the basmati rice with the potatoes?
Yeah,
and
probably.
The curry
Yeah.
sauce and
So it's spicier than you would expect.
tandoori chicken.
Yeah, I mean it's not terrible. It's edible, clearly.
I watch everyone else eat it first.
And you probably
Is it like masala garam? Is it yellow curry? Is it
Sure.
red curry? Is it
they probably don't feed you anything too spicy unless Mr. Cooper has them serve you something spicy.
I would request it.
Okay.
So, Mr.
Surprise
Cooper,
me.
how do you handle the delicate disposition of our posteriors later in the day?
Totally good disposition of our posteriors.
Oh, I want to stay on your guys' good side. I'll do what you want.
So
who's getting the hot plate? Just text him or write a note.
No. So you probably, Mr. Byrne, you and Miss McCrea, you both get, it is spicy. Like you eat it and you're like, oh wow, where did that come from? Because that's not American food. It's not like that. But once you eat a little bit of it, it's not that bad.
I had a taco once.
I had a taco once. Oh, tacos in 1925. That's gotta be an experience all by itself. It is definitely.
I would say somebody probably just made a hamburger and then just crumbled it up.
Yeah.
And put it in
But
a
this
tortilla
is
shell.
definitely an experience.
Mind you, the person who made that taco hadn't taken a bath in 2 weeks.
Probably.
So, well, in all fairness, when was the last time you guys took baths?
7 hours ago.
No, I mean in the game.
Oh.
I mean, this is 1925 where weekly baths are kind of the thing.
Well,
Hopefully after he butchered that deep one.
Maybe.
well, us three are fairly upper crust. so-
Yeah, you probably take one every other day or every third day.
Every third
Probably.
day.
Did we have bathing facilities on the ship?
Yeah, crude
And once
ones,
we got
but
off
yeah.
the ship, or once we were on the ship.
Okay. So you guys eat and then discuss what happened.
Yes. Yeah, he's on the up and up. There was nothing there. The bill's fine.
It was junk. We had to kill him.
Yes, it's unfortunate, but we were able to recover the money.
Can I have my back?
Byrne doesn't laugh.
Like I'm
Byrne
very
keeps a
hungry.
completely straight face.
would
Can I try a
prefer
psychology?
Frank the Captain Wilkerson.
You can try it, sure.
Byrne is dead and shoving food in his mouth.
Did you fail?
Yeah.
So did you hide the body somewhere?
No, we
By the
left
way,
it. No, it was.
just
It
left
was
it
a
in the mosque?
mosque. They'll take care of the burial, right? That's what they do.
Oh my goodness.
How do you react to this? What do your facial features look like?
I definitely looked stunned.
Shock.
Oh my god! my body.
There was nothing there. He was fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, alright, he passes.
Total and utter disbelief.
No, he was fine. Answered all of our questions, and hopefully he'll be safe.
Seemed to be quite helpful. Left in reasonably cheery disposition. Headed to Parks West.
Picking up your entire life and fleeing the countries. As serious can be expected.
Well, it's not given that he would have to do
Fleeing the
that.
country?
His suggestion, not ours. You see, his previous establishment was burned down by fire bats.
Anything like a bear cat?
Yes.
Absolutely not.
No, absolutely. Only made it fire and much more like a bat than a whatever you said.
Been a bear cat. Like a Dutch bear cat? Like
No.
Yes.
A feisty woman.
Oh, I only knew of the automobile.
You're comparing Miss McCrea to a bat that is made out of fire and burns down men's shops.
So you're saying this was literally a bat made of fire?
Yes.
Close to a bat.
Yes, not merely the skirts that would bring one aflame.
So as that settles into your character's mind, I need you to roll sanity. Like that there are fire bats made of fire.
63. Barely made it.
Okay, you don't lose anything, but this does not sit well with you.
Can I try a Cthulhu Mythos to see if I...
Yeah, sure.
Oh yeah, get on that.
No.
Yeah, no, you've
Those are
never
well-wise.
ever heard of it.
Until now.
In any event, the man, we gave him ample compensation so that should he decide to start a new life, he should be able to.
You did see the ample compensation, and that was some
Yeah,
ample
it was.
compensation.
And
They weren't joking around.
It's like, well, what did you give me? For $1,000.
yes,
We've got that in change.
he told us that he'd sold some dark, stolen artifacts from a cult that I will not mention their name here, and that got him on their most wanted list. And that's the shop, and now his new place, and anyways, we have
Where did he steal them from?
Any relation to our friends from New York?
yes, he's given us some leads about where to go to inquire further, as well as to someone who might be in charge of them.
Where did he steal these artifacts from?
I lean in and whisper very carefully to make sure that no one's over here. He mentioned the name Omar Shahi and said that we must not go to this man's house. He's probably a high priest of the
Roll
Brotherhood.
your knowledge.
So we'll be going there sometime soon.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I made it.
Omar Shahi is a wealthy and cultured son of a fine English family. He owns cotton plantations here.
English with the last name Shakti?
No. Did I say English?
You said
Yes.
English.
Egyptian. So that was
That's-
completely
I
my
was-
mistake. Yeah, no,
Yeah, make
completely.
sure.
He's a fine English man. His name's Omar Shahi.
Uh, he
Like, I can see a family naming a kid Omar after moving here,
No, he is definitely a businessman, and the fact that they would even suggest that he's a member of a cult like that doesn't really make sense. But that doesn't mean they're wrong. Just, that's not what you've ever heard.
That seems odd. He's an upstanding businessman who owns farmland. That's
So is-
hardly
so
a
is-
cult.
Lord Penny.
Yeah, Penny was a businessman too.
Serpent.
Sir Penny.
He was quite the cultist. He tried to kill Byrne here.
Several times.
And that point of order. That was Gavigan.
Oh, crap, was it?
Oh, yeah.
Retcon!
Just for the record. That was,
So we never encountered
Sorry.
Penny here?
No, he was on the expedition.
He's
Oh.
dead.
We
Right.
haven't yet to run into. I mean, dead.
Right, I'll retcon that as, well, you know, Penny Hughes' man, Gavigan. You know,
Yes.
he was an upstanding young man. He tried to kill Byrne several times.
Tried to feed me to a crack in the sky once.
Yeah, that was terrible.
It's horrible.
Crack in the sky.
Don't ask.
It,
I don't want to know.
it made no sense to us either. It still doesn't.
But I defiled his curtain ray. The message has been sent.
His curtains are most defiled.
That's terrible.
Not to mention his corpse, but you know.
Well,
The professor shot him in the face with a shotgun.
Somebody jumped in.
Frank,
he's
I must
acting.
apologize for my.
My character's actually giggling a little unhinged at this point.
Are they up on the up and up? Are they playing me for a fool here?
No, most of what they're saying is true. They're just saying it in some odd way. They're
To be
like
fair,
children sometimes.
I was behind the wheel of the car at the time.
Oh yes, very impressive.
So you were hoping to just wing him then, instead of shooting him dead in the face.
I should have slid into him, but it's right there. So
Seized the moment he did. Anyhow, being a good businessman is no cover.
I believe you were unconscious on the floorboard.
That's why I asked.
In any event, we've been given
we
some
had
other
to
names.
rescue Byrne.
from a crack.
He
in the
was
sky.
chained to a big thing.
Never fear. Should you be abducted and try to be fed to an elder god, we'll come get you too.
Almost
Yes.
some sort.
That's the word. Obelisk.
Okay. There's also a name of a Mr. Broussard, who was the agent for the Carlisle expedition, said that maybe we should inquire at the French embassy as to his whereabouts, if he's still in the city. And he also had Mr. Byrne. Would you show him the drawing?
Yes.
He had an amulet that he said would protect him from hauntings or horrors. And I thought that perhaps we might be able to maybe fashion these ourselves, or at least examine them.
And I forgot. Did we? Can we retcon that scene and ask him if he got that before or after the shot burned down?
It sounded like it was inferred that he stole it along with everything else.
So it doesn't work. Never mind.
Well, it doesn't work against the fireman, but it would work against something else. He's not dead after all.
I guess that's true.
I will
Good
examine
point.
the drawing.
Roll your gold.
And Mr. Cooper, have you ever
Yes.
seen anything like this
You're
before?
going to spend some time doing some research at an actual library to identify exactly what it does, but it is a
Ballpark.
it's some sort of protective item.
Have I ever seen anything like this before?
You
Specifically, does it have any relation to the crown tiara thing?
to the what?
Does it share any similar traits with the crown tiara?
Are they set? No.
Well, no, just like similar schools, man.
Gotta catch them all.
It's the tiara of Vecna.
It's not the handle. Alright.
So, no, it doesn't really have anything to do with the tiara.
And his shop was clean, you said? Nothing of interest?
Yeah.
We didn't
Nothing
buy
out of the
anything.
ordinary. Apparently he must sell the stuff I get here rather quickly.
And you had no trouble seeking entry?
No, it appears my wayward student has become quite proficient in the lockpick.
No, he just doesn't like the door very well.
Botticello was good at that, but he's not around anymore, so.
Botticello was horrible at that.
He was horrible at that.
Yeah, he failed more often than he succeeded.
I remember him unlocking one door, which is better than I did.
And then he broke his lockpicks off in
That's
the
right,
guy's desk.
I was around for that, I think. Oh,
right.
well.
Back when we thought the druid was the bad guy.
So, what are you guys doing next?
You guys aren't very good judge characters.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Should we investigate
I think we were to go to Omar.
him first or Broussard?
Broussard.
I'm more inclined to at least find out if Besart is here in town still.
Yes, Mr. Najir seemed very firm that we should not. He said explicitly that we should not, under any circumstances, deal or attempt to infiltrate or have anything to do with Mr. Shakti. So if we do that, it'll be extremely dangerous.
I think that should be the last thing we do before we leave town.
Perhaps. We might need to leave town in a hurry.
And not draw the cult of the Brotherhood of the Black Pharaoh down on our heads too early.
Too early.
Well, and I would also recommend that we prepare to have that eventuality immediately prior to leaving town, as I believe it will instantly necessitate our need to flee the city.
Agreed. So, Besart first, the French embassy. The French embassy.
Who's speaking for the group at the French embassy?
The French guy. Speaker guy.
Roll your credit rating. I was shaking my head as you were putting them away.
Oh, look at that! I passed.
And roll your persuasion.
One of these days you're gonna roll $100.
Look at that! I passed.
So you talk your way in and kind of get some information. Besart's current address is the Red Door, Strait of Scorpions, in the Red Alley. It's in the Old City. The bazaar is located along the Sharia Mezzadin Allah, which is the street. No, it's not Mezzadin. It's close, but it's not quite.
Does the color red have any importance to Egyptian lore?
What now?
Does the color red have any importance to?
No.
Okay.
Hookers. Lots of hookers.
So, are you guys headed there?
So the,
What does the embassy tell us about the man? They just give us his
local.
address.
Yeah, I mean, as a foreign citizen, he has to register at the embassy where he lives, so he's done that. That's
and what's the state of occupation?
what do you call those?
Antiquarians?
No, what?
Sherpa?
Travel agent.
What was Harper
What?
in?
Oh.
Vampire hunter?
Not a vampire. He wasn't a clerk. There was another name.
Solicitor?
What? A
Solicitor?
solicitor. He's
Yeah.
a solicitor. It's essentially a dude that does stuff for other people that pay him money.
He's a lawyer.
Slightly lawyerish, but
Yeah, but probably in Egypt less law and more.
Bureaucrat, basically.
yeah.
Or going to negotiate with people.
Yeah.
He's a personal bureaucrat.
Lion tamer?
Lion
Just
tamer.
just
Yeah.
keep throwing things out.
He's a ninja, samurai,
Nice.
robot,
Lion
Pirate?
tamer.
dragon, dinosaur.
Does he have a
But he's
flamethrower?
not from outer space, right?
And yet 3/4 of the way through the movie, he will then remember that he has 2 swords in his arms.
That's absolutely
Pacific Rim?
Absolutely.
Yes, love that.
He also has a giant miniature space hamster
Yes.
that he takes with him
A
everywhere.
giant miniature.
Space hamster.
Giant miniature.
You've never played
Baldur's
Gate. Yeah. To learn about Boo, the giant miniature space hamster. We'll
Oh,
talk
wow.
about that after the game.
That's
So you guys head down to the Red Door on the Red Alley in the
I was
Red.
waiting for him to say the Red Dwarf. I was
Yes, no.
like, really?
The sole red door along the Street of Scorpions opens to a small clothing shop owned by Abu Udra, whatever.
Abu.
Abu.
By Boo.
Owned by a
Yes.
monkey.
That's what I was thinking. To be clear, he means the monkey from
Aladdin.
Aladdin, which is the name of the movie.
Yes.
Okay, so who wants to talk to Abu, the shop owner, not Abu the monkey?
Give him a couple of sugar cubes and an
That
apple.
was the
We're
one
done. Give us everything we want.
He likes bananas. And whatever.
So nobody.
Well, what's he speak?
He hates being told.
That's a good question. I'm gonna have to go with English. Enough of English. Yeah.
So, we think this guy lives here or what?
He's connected.
Alright, so going. Hello!
Afternoon. How may I help you?
Oh, we're thinking about going on an expedition. Do you have traveling clothes?
Absolutely. We have plenty of things to, and he kind of like walks you from like one rack to another because he only has a couple. But everything, he's clear everything is resizable. This is 1925. He's kind of made stuff and then he'll custom fit it to you. And he talks you through a few things.
So I'm gonna get some headgear and some stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Squeeto neck.
Then ask him, we're also looking for someone who can maybe engage in some business negotiations for us. Maybe with some of the French people. We're looking to make some inroads with them.
Okay, I'm not sure. This is just a clothing shop, so I'm not sure that we'll. I don't know many people.
We were recommended to find a Mr. Broussard.
I'm sorry, there is no Mr. Besart here. And you can all roll psychology.
Oh, yeah.
Nope.
Because you got my
yeah.
dice?
No, I'm just getting the bat out for you.
Oh, okay. Yes.
See how that works?
That was very good. Well,
Damn, roll my dice.
get the bat out.
He says no, and then glances at like a curtained archway. Clearly,
They're like, no, over there.
no, he's not here at all.
So I'm gonna wander that way.
Did you succeed on your psychology?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so Miss McCrea starts wandering back towards that archway.
You guys can't do that.
I bull rushed past her through the curtain.
Gun out.
No.
And I look at Mr. Cooper and I go, and this is how these things go.
Brass knuckles.
You just hear a big sigh out of him. He doesn't even move. He's just in the back, you find a bundle of clothing. There's clearly a man underneath it, but there's the hood of his clothing is pulled over him. But his shoes are not at all Arabian or Egyptian. They are clearly European in design.
Pull his hood off.
As you go to pull his hood off.
I don't actually do those.
I do. I fling the cover back.
There is a very pungent smell in here of hashish.
Yes.
Which, Mr. Weld, you know all about that. The rest of you may not. Definitely Mr. Byrne and Mr. Creep wouldn't.
I'm pretty sure Cooper's a
Willie?
Cooper's a mule.
Is that in your background? Did I miss that?
I deal with the criminal element.
Hashish is not that known in America.
Okay.
Yeah, hashish isn't exotic.
Yeah. It's just not known in America. If you had dealt with them in Europe, perhaps.
No.
But yeah, Mr. Cooper, you know that smell. Now that your new friends have bull rushed their way back into another room. The man under the hood. You pull back his hood, John.
Yes.
The man under the hood, his face is sunken and pale, and he has a scruffy blonde beard, and he scoots away from you very quickly. What do you want,
Mr. Besart?
Yes.
We seek information.
About what?
Activities of your past. The Carlisle expedition.
He starts looking around for his drugs.
I'll hand him a bottle of fun.
We understand completely.
I'm just like, here you go.
And he kind of shakes it, and then pulls out the dropper and just straight on his tongue. Yeah, and kind of puts it back in and moves to sort of hand it back and just kind of cradles it a little bit. You mean about the expedition?
We want to know what you know.
A lawyer contacted me. I agreed to act as a purchasing agent for Mr. Carlisle. Okay, so as he starts speaking, it's broken and kind of
drug-addled.
Yes, it's also kind of heavy in a French accent.
Sure.
It's easy to follow, but there are a couple of words you don't realize what he said until he's 4 or 5 words later when you can pull it back into context. Yeah. I was a purchasing agent for Mr. Carlisle of the United States, who was represented to me as a wealthy American. On written instructions from Mr. Carlisle, I purchased certain artifacts from Faraz Najir, an antiquities dealer, and illegally shipped them out of Egypt to Sir Aubrey Pinhew in London. I know these artifacts were ancient, but nothing more. When the Carlisle expedition came to Egypt, I arranged for all their equipment and permits. Their main site was Dashur in the area of the Bent Pyramid. One day in Dashur, Jack Brady came to me and told me that Carlisle, Hypatia Masters, Sir Aubrey, and Dr. Huston had entered the Bent Pyramid and then vanished. Brady was excited and suspected foul play since the diggers had already fled the site and work had come to a standstill. We did not know what to do, so we drank. The next morning, Carlisle and the others reappeared. They were excited by some tremendous find, but what it was they would not say, nor did I learn. For Sir Aubrey was a fiend for secrecy. All of them had changed in some inexplicable way, and a way not for the better. I did not ask further. That evening, an old Egyptian woman visited me. She said her son had been one of the diggers. She said the diggers had fled Carlisle and the others had fled because Carlisle and the others had consorted with an ancient evil, the messenger of the Black Wind. She said she could not recognize that the soul, or she said that she could recognize that the souls of all the Europeans but Brady and myself were lost. If I wanted proof, I should go to the collapsed pyramid at Meedham, at the time when the moon is slimmest, the night before the dark of the moon. God help me, I went. I took one of the trucks, pretending to leave for a night in the pleasure quarter of Cairo, but instead I drove the 20 miles south to Meedham, and secreted myself where she advised. There, in the midnight blackness, I saw Carlisle with the others disport themselves in obscene rituals with hundreds of madmen. The desert became alive, crawling and undulating toward the ruins of the pyramid. To my horror, the stone ruins themselves became skeletal, bulging-eyed things. Strange creatures emerged from the sands, grasped the dancing celebrants, and one by one tore out their throats, killing all until only the Europeans and one other robed celebrant remained. Something more loomed out of the sand, the size of an elephant, but with 5 separate shaggy heads. Then I realized what it was, but it is madness to speak it. I saw it rise in a great ravening swallow, as one all the torn corpses and their hideous murderers, leaving alive only 5 people amid the stench of blood-soaked sands. I fainted. When I recovered, I wandered into the desert. There further horrors awaited me. Stumbling up a rise before dawn, I saw beyond hundreds of dark sphinxes, rank upon rank, drawn up and waiting for the hour of madness when they will spring to devour the world. I fainted again, and this time I left the world for many months. A man found me. For 2 years, he and his mother cared for me. A man mindless, and returned. I came back to Cairo, but only to dream. Only hashish helps, or opium if it can be found, and this stuff in the bottle. My life is low again, and my life is intolerable without it. Thank you so much for what you've given me. Only strong drugs keep me from insanity. Everything, gentlemen, everything is lost. There is no hope for any of us. Everywhere they wait. Perhaps you will join me for a pipe.
Well, you certainly will.
And with that, we say goodnight from Nerds Domain presents Masks of Nyarlathotep. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter, and you can check out our website. We'll talk to you real soon.
This has been a production of the Omega Nerds Network, the network where it's on.